What's good, fam? It's your boy Jorge. Welcome back to Hang with the Boys. I got a special guest today. I got the legend, motocross, freestyle, Adam Jones.
What's up, everybody?
The guy that just does not quit.
Yeah.
I saw an interaction between you and Taka saying that you guys are not quitting till you're like 50 or something.
Yeah.
Made me laugh.
Taka always says that. It's funny. He speaks English kind of, but like he's still like insightful. And I think it was a couple years ago, and I don't know. I just worry about things maybe more than the average guy. And like, so at first it was like about tricks and stuff like that. And Taka would be like, no, just ride, have fun. We ride till 50, mate. And like, so he just started saying that to me all the time. We ride till 50, mate. And then, yeah, I don't know. Just message him sometimes like, dude, you got any shows? Like, is it slow for you? Because it's slow to me. It'd be fine. Always slow this time of year. We ride till 50, mate.
Yeah, that's his only phrase he knows. Nah, he's good. He's monster.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean, Taka's, he don't have nothing to worry about.
Where are you from? Like
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Like Pittsburgh, or is there
like 20 minutes from Pittsburgh. I'm from Warrendale.
Oh, Warrendale.
Which is like one stop sign big.
Yeah. You think you're the most famous person that's ever come out of there?
From Warrendale? Definitely from Warrendale.
Yeah.
There's about 6 other people there. Warrendale is small and there's not anybody else there.
Yeah.
My school, North Allegheny, though, the one that I went to is like a pretty large school. I'm sure there's been plenty of successful people that have came out of that school and done stuff. I don't know that if this was a rumor or if this is real, but like I'm pretty sure Christina Aguilera graduated from our school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But she would have been roughly your age.
She was a couple years older than me, I think.
Oh, okay.
She was like my sister's age.
And your sister don't know?
I don't know. I didn't ask her.
Damn.
I mean, when I was younger, they talked about it. Like, sure, she said that, but like most young people are full of shit anyways. Yeah. So like, I don't really know. This was like, it was what everybody said, that she did go to North Allegheny, and maybe she didn't graduate there. Maybe she moved or something. I'm not sure. But like, I definitely heard from a lot of people that she went to the same school as me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we find that out?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, I was thinking
we have
about
our very own Jamie today.
Yeah.
It's Kimberly. Kimberly's here hanging out, just watching us.
Oh, yeah.
We should put her on camera and we can just talk in the distance, and then more people will watch the video.
That's what I try to tell her. She doesn't want me to succeed. We are nipping at the heels of Joe Rogan.
We can get there.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for her selfishness.
Yeah, with time, I was thinking Joe, he's finally picked kind of a side to be on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if he gets taken out and there's no more JRE, then we're gonna be climbing the charts.
I won't have to ride till I'm 50 if that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I'm only just a guest, but I'm guessing by that point your guest pay will potentially be high enough to cover me or at least equal to what freestyle does right now, which isn't much.
Yeah. Yeah. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. Go harass Kimberly.
That's right. Well,
or don't do that. Yeah, that's funny. You never think of going back to Warrendale and being like, hey, let me get a key to the city.
The key to the city. That would basically be like a key to Northgate Auto Body, which is like the body shop that my dad had out of our garage in our house. It's funny though, because like some things I've thought about sometimes. Obviously, I moved out here to chase my career when I was 17 years old, and it's all been worth it. This is where the scene was, and I think it really helped me to like be able to like make this whole thing a reality. But sometimes I think that you see certain people in life and in my business too, of freestyle motocross, and they're kind of like a bigger fish in a smaller pond. And I remember hearing something from somebody one time that was go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And I always thought about like my hometown, and like when I was young, like it was pretty known that like that's where I was from, and I was like up and coming and doing good, and then it was the X Games and stuff like that. Yeah. And it was like kind of like to a certain degree like celebrated back there. And then I move into this other place where I'm a transplant and I'm here chasing my dreams as well, but like I'm not really from here, you know what I mean? And it's like it's just this different dynamic of, I wonder, like with FMX Rampage, if I took a ramp back there and I started chasing shows back there, like I wonder maybe it's too late now. Maybe I'm too far removed, and I guess it's just a thinking thing that I shouldn't even think about. But I wonder what it could have been like in the heyday had I set something up like that in my hometown where everybody's like, oh, that's the X Games guy that came from here. Oh, sick. We'll go. You know what I mean? There's like that sort of like support just because, you're like their hometown team and they want to support. And I always thought that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, one of those things, I guess I just took that possibility out of my life, but no regrets, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, this area is pretty tough when it comes to that. Like if you look at my high school, you got like Mace and like Miller Byton coming out of there. You got the mountain bike guys coming out of there. We have like a producer out of there, Olympic silver medalist out of there.
Snowboard too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right?
like all that
a
stuff.
Bunch of them.
Yeah, that's pretty big. And then you look in Carson, you got like Cam Zink. Like so, just this area is pretty saturated with like extreme sports athletes that have come out and done very well for themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's kind of hard, I think, to stand out when
for sure
a shitload of people have come out of this area, which is kind of wild, huh?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I'm not trying to stand out anymore. Like I guess it was just an idea of like an opportunity, and like, does it create more opportunity for you to succeed better in your chosen field if you like I said, the saying that always sticks in my head is go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Mm-hmm. Do you know where the groundhog is? Isn't that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. I don't know exactly where that's at in Pennsylvania. It's definitely not Western Pennsylvania, which is where I'm from, Western Pennsylvania. It's probably more central or east, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I've seen Groundhog Day, though.
Yeah. I just get that what you were just saying. I get that vibe from those areas like that. Like the people that do come out, especially if you're kind of like the only one, then everyone's like celebrates. Yeah.
So where I was going originally with that was saying that other guys in my same line of work, it's like, there's the Podmall brothers that have been like two successful Czech guys, and like, man, they kill it. Like they do great because they're like Czechs. It's not the size of the United States of America with as much like talent flowing out of it. And those guys have killed it, and they're from there. And it's like, I think it's probably helped their careers, like to stay around there, that's their home base and everything. I think it's good. Like, I don't mean to talk, I'm not talking down about anybody by saying this, but like the big fish in a small pond thing it's a good dynamic especially if you're in like a niche sport, and it's kind of like, it's an uphill battle to make it work, right?
Yeah. Well, when it's a community too.
Yeah.
So it I think a lot of people do celebrate because they feel special themselves, even though they're not the ones, but they're like, I ran into him at the store. Like I know that guy.
Associate, right? Yeah. They're like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Speaking of Czech and being overseas, you just got back from?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Barely. Thanks a lot, United. I went to Germany. I went to Kiel, Germany. I just had United hose me on the way home yesterday, so it ended up taking like 36 hours to get home, which was ridiculous. Got stuck in San Fran. I was on one flight for 16 hours. Damn. Because the pilots timed out, so we had to divert to Boston, and then we were supposed to fuel for 40 minutes, and we sat on the jetway for almost 2.5 hours, and then we had to go the rest of the way to San Francisco, but nobody was allowed to get off the plane at that time because like then we would have had to go through international customs, and so I missed my flight by like an hour, the final one to get home. Stayed in San Fran, got up yesterday morning.
Yeah.
But the trip was good, though. It's an event called Jump and Race. It was fun. Like, they make like the cheesiest, littlest. It's not even, you can't even call it an arena cross.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like handlebar wide. they make it out of like sandbox sand. So it's like crazy, just slick and falls apart. And they have some of the freestyle guys do some races, and they brought in like 3 racer guys, Jordan Tixier, Cedric Soy Ross. I can't say his name right. I'm sorry. And some other European guys that I didn't know, but yeah, they just do like a couple little races and some freestyle segments, and it's all right. You go to Europe, you get there, you're exhausted, you sleep a little bit, you feel okay. Like you got to power through every day that you're there, because the jet lags usually, it takes days to get over jet lagged where you're feeling good. And you're literally at the venue all day without any chance to usually like slow down and take a nap. So you just kind of power through for like 2-3 days and feeling exhausted, and then you get to the point where you're like, I think I'm coming around, and then you get on the flight and you come home, and then you're fucked again.
So I made that joke, the freestyle that won't quit. But because it made me think, just your travels and everything. And I remember traveling back in the day as well, and kind of recently, but recently for me was more in the United States, right? When is it going to be time for you to or does it even bug you, like those long travel days? So it's not like you're saying, hey, I'm going to go to Australia and I'm going to be there for a month. Is I'm going to Germany and I'm going to be there for the weekend.
And I've done that twice this month.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and it's not the most enjoyable. This weekend was pretty good. Like the crew of freestyle guys there was pretty good. Like the Podmall brothers were both there. I haven't seen Libor since he broke his leg super bad back in 2019. Like Luke Ackerman was there. There's a bunch of like cool dudes, and we had a good time. So it was all right. But it's not always like that,
Right.
The one I went to before that was the Dortmund Supercross, which is cool to be able to get to watch Supercross. Like Dean Wilson was there racing, so that was it's just cool to see these battles on these European Supercross tracks, which are the size of arena cross tracks. But like they were long days. It was 3 days in a row. There was only 3 of us there. It was a lot of waiting around. Like not fun. So like when is the day that it's going to become too much? Like I don't know. I'm trying to convince myself to slowly like start that process a little bit. Like I really want to not take every fucking show that comes my way now. And it's hard not to in freestyle because sometimes you don't know when the next show is going to be. Like my beginning of the year right now is pretty slow. And what I've done in years past and what I'm trying not to do, thanks to like Taka's wise advice that he gives me, is I'm trying not to panic and chase shows right now and just know that like it'll come around eventually. It always does. You're going to have a couple slow months and it'll come around. So like just ride the wave. We're normally like, I'm calling everybody and I'm getting like booked into bullshit shows for like not that great of money and like shit I really don't want to do either. So I'm trying to convince myself to stop thinking like that. And I'm trying to convince myself that, especially now, like this should be more about enjoyment and doing stuff that's like either fulfilling or like beneficial in one way or another. So you always get paid more to go to Europe for a weekend than you do to go to a show in America for the weekend. So maybe Europe for a long weekend is pretty brutal and it's tough. But if the benefit is that, well, I can make 2 show fees, like what would take me 2 weekends in America to make by going to Europe and toughing it out this weekend, well, then that's a benefit that I can deal with.
Yeah.
But if there's not that benefit, it's not worth it. And also, like, while I was over there, I got offered 2 shows in Poland where I would have had to stay. And like, I've done these 2 weekends in Germany, and I am going to Costa Rica in a week for Marco Piccato's shows. And it was like right after that, and they wanted me to stay. And I just didn't want to do it. I'm like, I want to be home. Like, I want to be with my family. So I was basically just like really firm on like how much money I needed. And I kind of knew it was more than they were going to pay. And like, if they would have said yes, I would have like figured it out. Like, do I want to do this or not? But they were like, that's out of our budget. Like, we can't do it. So it all worked out. But that was one instance where, yeah, man, thankfully, like maybe I'm starting to have a little bit of that ability to go, maybe let's just enjoy life a little bit. I don't need to fucking ride that show. Like, I'll survive without it. I want to be home with my family more than I'm on the road. So, act in accordance with how you speak. Yeah.
And especially like just long travel.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
It is. It is pretty brutal. I mean, I fly United all the time. I've been flying United for 15 years, and like, so I at least like always get a window seat. I always get economy plus. I never have to pay for my bags. I never have to wait in fucking lines because I go to priority lines and stuff like that. So like that makes it way easier.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so much less stress that it is a pain to travel, but it's way fucking more of a pain when you travel on an airline you don't have any status in, to be honest with you. So if I can travel on like my airline, I can get enough comfort.
That's good.
Yeah.
You get a chance to catch up on Supercross or anything?
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching every one. I think I'm caught up. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it was some good racing so far.
Yeah, it's been really good, dude.
So, obviously, the big news is Jett Lawrence out for the season, I'm assuming.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't a stinger.
Yeah, tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Getting surgery today, I think.
Gnarly. That's a huge bummer.
Yeah, but I don't think the 450 loses anything with that.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many like good guys in there that like the battles are still going to be there.
Everybody brought it this year. Mm-hmm. That's how I was wondering. I'm like, did everybody bring it this year, or is Jett slower this year? Because like I'm sure you've heard as well, he's not stoked on the new bike. Mm-hmm. And then this weekend I was talking to Jordan Tixier too, because he was still riding a year-old model, and I was like, dude, these ones look so much sicker. I'm like, that new radiator shroud on the 25, like. Mm-hmm. Don't retro my radiator shrouds. Retro other shit, but not my radiator shrouds. It looks like an 87 CR250 or something like that. But anyways, and he started telling me that they're way better. Last year's model is way better. Huh. And he said, especially with like Supercross stuff, they're having a lot of problems with like the back end. He said they almost sit, listen, this is just what he told me. I have no understanding of how to set up a Supercross bike. But he said they sit like kind of stink bug, like with the back end up, and they're having a hard time getting it down. So it's like harder for whoops. It's just, he said he doesn't like it. And a lot of people don't like it. So it kind of made me wonder, like, has the playing field been equalized because Jett is on a bike that he's maybe not jiving with? Or did everybody get smoked last year and they went and worked hard in the off season? I just think like anything's possible, but compared to how much better than everybody Jett was last year, like that's a lot of ground for these guys to cover in a year. And like how much better at this point in your career could you have gotten? Like, I don't know, dude. It's weird because I don't think Sexton rode that good last year. I don't think Tomac was like all the way back last year.
Yeah, he wasn't. He looks great this year.
He does, yeah.
But I thought Jett liked the bike when it first came out. Didn't they ride like 2 or 3 rounds before, and then he smoked everyone? And I thought they were like, well, you know, obviously they're not going to say, hey, Honda's shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know, the only one that says that is Sexton about the KTMs in 2024.
Yeah. So I thought he liked it.
Maybe, yeah.
But he does look kind of not comfortable on it. His brother's still very consistent, top 5s.
Yeah.
Same thing he was doing last year on the older bike. And then, but yeah, Tomac, I mean, even Roxon, but Tomac and Sexton just look really good on their bike.
Yeah. And I guess it makes sense. Like I was saying last year, is Jett just worse this year than he was last year, or did they cover ground? But like, it does make a lot of sense that Sexton definitely did not look comfortable last year. Like he did not have that speed that he had in 23. In 23, when he was on the Honda, dude, he was a fucking animal. I mean, he couldn't keep the front end from tucking, but like he was so fast, it was unbelievable. And Tomac was strong that year too, but Sexton was just mopping the floor with him. So anyways, and then last year, Tomac comes back after the Achilles thing, which is probably a pretty big thing. And like, you know, it's just like anything else. Your first couple or season or whatever, it takes a while to get back in the flow, maybe. Yeah. And especially like if you don't find that flow at the first couple, like it might fuck you up for the whole year. Like you might not have a chance. So maybe it isn't that Jett was slower. Maybe everybody is just ready to come out swinging this year.
Yeah. So maybe they come out swinging, but how about Jett maybe being a little nervous to race this year?
Maybe.
Did you see the race where it took him a long time to pass Anderson? And even I think
was that in a heat race or was that in the?
That was Anaheim too.
Yeah.
And I think it was both heat and main.
Yeah.
And he just looked very
helmet shook.
Yeah. Right? He looked very timid. And it's like, why isn't he passing him? And then he's like, okay, well, Anderson's riding pretty decent. That if he passes, then he might get passed again, and it might be dirty. Because they got the history.
Like Anderson's one of those guys. It's like Barsha too. Like anytime somebody I like passes Barsha, even if they're like twice as fast, I'm always like,
yeah,
you know, like the next corner, it's like, is he gonna murder him? I don't know. And Anderson's kind of the same way. So
yeah, so I think he was riding timid, and it kind of looks like he's just maybe more following. And I don't know if that's his strategy to be like, I'm just like following him, just let him do this thing, tire him out, and then I'm going to charge at the end and pass him and win. Or he's just kind of nervous, or the bike sucks.
Yeah. Or he's being smart and having a slow start of the year, knowing he's got more in the tank and just trying to get by. Yeah, it's a lot of things could be. Also dealing with some nonsense, right?
Yeah. More came out on that. I don't know if you saw much of it. But...
No. Well, I saw like the thing they filed.
Yeah.
Which was just like basically saying what the charges are and stuff like that. Dude, that.
So we're talking about the agent or manager.
It was it was his agent.
Agent for the Lawrence brothers. He got fired from being their agent and also from the agency
WMG
group. So he lost his job there, supposedly for stealing up to, I think, $600,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, biggest fumble. And I think I told you this when we first talked about it, but like your job is literally to hang out with two up and coming like superstars already and make money by getting them deals, which everyone's throwing the deals at them.
Yeah.
You don't have to go find them. And I mean, I don't know if you're doing some shady shit or whatever, but you're doing something and you end up getting fired. It's like, that's...
Well, according to Lucas, this is the first he's heard of these allegations. That's crazy. I actually like...
Dude, he was probably pumped when he saw Jett go down.
Oh, I know, like, dude. I know. I did some scanning around the comments of those just because, like, I know Myrtle. Mm-hmm. I met Myrtle back in 2008, and I was wondering what people were saying. And did you see, like, apparently he called in to Pulp MX?
Yeah.
And I didn't hear any of it, but some people were commenting saying, like, he did not do himself any favors calling in. And, like, people commenting, like, hey, I'm sure your lawyer gave you advice to keep your fucking mouth shut. Like, maybe you should take that advice.
Yeah.
Like, he's just spewing nonsense everywhere. It sounds crazy to me, like, and sure, dude, he could be innocent. Somebody is lying here, right? That's what the shit about this sort of stuff that really pisses me off is somebody's fucking lying. And, like, I know who I think it is, but that doesn't really matter. But like, it's disgusting if you are lying and you really, really try to like persuade people of your innocence and like try to, play the victim in the part and everything. And like, I find that so gross. Like, if you did some shit and you got caught, you should just be like, fuck. Yeah. You got me. That's fun while it lasted.
Yeah. Well, and
guess I'm going to jail.
And even the way they, when all the charges came out and everything, where like money went and everything. I don't know Lucas. Like I met him a long time ago as well, but I don't know him like that at all. But he doesn't strike me as the smartest guy. When I saw that he was like this super agent now,
bro, I
was like, damn, like he did something good,
Yeah.
Good for him. But that's kind of where it ended. But now with all this being said and happening, I'm like, okay, well, if you saw like he took some money to buy a trailer for his other rider, but he took it from the Lawrence's account. So to him, like, not saying he's innocent or anything, but could you just imagine him thinking like, well, these are my guys, so I'm just going to borrow this money for this other kid that I manage. It should be fine.
Yeah, it sounds like a trailer is a small part of it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think he was just doing that, and he was getting away with it, and he was just thinking more like, well, these guys are my guys, too. They're my homies, so I could just, like, take the money without asking.
Yeah.
And, and that's probably where, like, he kept doing it, and then now they caught on to it, and they're like, hey, what are you doing, dude? That's not okay. Like, that's your rider. Get sponsors for him to sponsor him to get a trailer or whatever, but don't be using our money. So I don't know, but not the brightest.
No, not at all. He actually came on Krusty Tour in 2008 as a mechanic. And let me tell you what, he was no fucking mechanic. Like, I asked him to change grips for me, and like, I come back to my bike and my throttle's stuck just completely wide open because I don't know how they'll, like, how many grips have you changed in your life? How many throttles did you stick wide open? All right. And then, like, he changed Bo's tire or something like that, and then changes brake pads, and Bo did the whip, and the fucking Bo's brake pads fly out of his bike. Like, so I always had kind of like the same perception of Lucas, like, oh, this dude's not very smart. And I thought the same thing. When all of a sudden he started being like super agent, I was like, how the fuck did that happen? You know what I mean? But like, I guess to do that thing, you just need the gift of gab, which like, I didn't think he had either, because it sounded like he always left like a half a cup of spit like sloshing around in his mouth while he was talking, which was like, I don't know. But
well, I thought it was, I don't know who else he had under him. Sounds like he had other pretty good riders.
Yeah.
But he's Australian, so I thought it was because the whole group was Australian, so they kind of got him.
I think he might have started with freestyle guys.
Yeah.
I know he did manage the Podmall brothers. I know he did manage Rob Adelberg. I don't think those guys had any sort of negative things to say. I did have other people in the industry. Well, one other person in the industry who's pretty connected, saying that he had heard from other guys that this isn't the first time it happened with Lucas. And I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I've obviously chosen a side, but I could be wrong. And why the fuck is WMG gonna fire him and say that they have proof that what has happened is true, just to conspire to get rid of him? Mm-hmm. They can just fire the fucking guy.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe one way. I definitely believe he did this.
Yeah. Well, they got the receipts of him taking money.
Yeah, they got fucking receipts
for other use that's not related to the Lawrence brothers.
Yeah.
Wasn't there part of it? Some of it was used for like his divorce to pay for his divorce.
Yeah, it did say that.
I kind of skimmed across that. I didn't really pay attention too much, but I'm like, maybe I should go back because that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I do remember that. Now that you said that, he paid for some of his divorce with that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, what the hell else was I just gonna say about it? Can't remember. It's a pretty wild deal. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, you could chalk that one up to bonehead move of the year.
Dude, you're crushing it.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you think the Lawrence brothers together make in like commissionable income, right? Because so he's not going to get a commission of their earnings like from Supercross.
Yeah.
So like if they get first place, and what's first place? Is it like $20,000 or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I heard for those guys, it's probably like 30 for 450s, 30, 40.
All right. Whatever the win is, he gets nothing, but he gets sponsor bonuses, commission of that, all the deals and stuff like that. So there's a lot of commissionable income there.
Dude, between both of them, I'm like, to be generous, or not the opposite of that, 15 million.
Yeah. I think maybe that's a little high.
Okay.
But I'd say like 10 million is not a little high.
Yeah.
So even if it's 10 million. So when I rode for WMG, commission was 20%, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any bargaining power. I eventually got them to say like, hey man, let's do 15. Like 20 is ridiculous. But that was way down the line in my career. Jett and Hunter, they both have a lot of bargaining power. If they're smart, they probably said like, yeah, manage us, but you only get 10 fucking percent. So I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if he's paying 20, if he's paying 10. I'm not sure. But let's assume they're only paying 10%. And then Lucas, I don't imagine working for WMG. I don't imagine that he would get 100% of their commissionable of the commissions that he earns them, right? It's probably some percentage of that as well. So like maybe it's 50-50. So if he's got $10 million of commissionable income, 10% of that is $1 million a year, right? Mm-hmm. And so you go to half of that. That's $500,000 a year. Like, that's a good fucking living, dude. $500,000, that's a good fucking living. Maybe it's a little less than that, but he also had other riders too. So he's making $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
And like, to throw that away on that bullshit, like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're fucking crazy.
Yeah. And also just not like see that number and be okay with it, because that's, or maybe he has some mental issues or something. But if he was just normal and you have that money coming in, you should probably be like, damn, dude, I'm kind of killing it.
Yeah, but then if you think about him making $500,000, I don't know if me and you talked about this or somebody else, but if you think about him making $500,000 a year, he spends all his time around guys that make $7-8 million a year, all of his time. He's a fucking broke dick, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he would probably feel that way. Like, oh, I just got out of Jett's extra Ferrari and fucking I got in my brand new Volkswagen Touareg to go home. I'm such a fucking loser. Like, it's just like comparing yourself to them all the time. And maybe that's why he did it. Maybe he's like, these fucking guys are living so big and like, I did it all. And It is stupid. $500,000 a year is a great living. You're in like the top, 1% of the world? Mm-hmm. You should probably be happy with that.
Yeah, you should probably not blow that one.
Yeah.
Well,
he didn't do it though. So
yeah, well, yeah, we are in the States. That's innocent till proven guilty.
It's funny if you read his post that he made too.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, what the fuck did he just say? It's like incoherent babbling that he wrote out on notes and then posting. It's like, did you proofread this?
Yeah.
Or did you I hope you didn't proofread this. Because if you proofread it once and you still posted it like that, I think you're fucking retarded.
I mean, that might help him in court. You could,
that's true.
You could say insanity. He's not stable for
a certain form of insanity.
Yeah. The part that got me was at the very end. He's like, yeah, you'll see like these two other guys now with Jett and them at the races. I wish them well or whatever. But I'm like, was that a threat to those guys? Or was he trying to expose those guys that like they're the reason why he got fired? You know what I mean? So I didn't.
That would make sense.
I couldn't really
saying that, right?
Yeah, I couldn't really tell what he was because the way he wrote everything.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why are you bringing that up? Like, are you literally legit saying, "Hey, congratulations, guys, you guys have my job now"?
No.
Or are you saying like these two, you'll see them at the races now because they're the reason I got fired or whatever? So I'm like, interesting.
Which is ridiculous. I mean, hey, if that's the case, this is a serious thing, right? Like, if that's the case, he has so much to go after them for after this. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know why I like this manager better. Let's throw this one under the bus.
It's
frame
two of them too. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's frame them up just because, like, I don't know, I'm kind of sick of Myrtle. Like, it could be.
Yeah.
But that seems pretty far-fetched.
Yeah. It's pretty weird. But yeah. So safe to say Lawrence brothers are going through it right now.
Yeah.
We haven't really heard much about Hunter just because I think he's just consistent, but he also doesn't look that well. Actually, last year he was consistent and he could have done better, but he always crashed. It was like every race he had a crash.
How many weeks in are we right now?
3, 4.
Yeah, right. Anaheim 1, San Diego, Anaheim 2, Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me how many guys I know you hear so much of this every season, and it gets to the point where it gets ridiculous. They're always talking about the flu and like everybody's sick, but they have been talking about that a lot. And what's crazy is like this year, whatever's going around, at least whatever's been going around here and like with certain people I've talked to is like the craziest one in like years. So I've thought about some of these guys that they've talked about this, and normally I'm just like, fucking geez, how do these guys get the flu so much, But like that shit this year is lingering. And it was a couple weeks before I felt normal. That fucking never happened to me. It was a couple weeks before I felt normal again. Like I couldn't imagine having to go like pound out laps on a supercross track feeling like that. I was just exhausted, So maybe that's it. Maybe not.
Well, you might see it with Webb because I think he was hit the very first week.
Yeah.
And then this weekend he does great.
Yeah, last weekend wasn't he saying it was coming out both ends or something? Did he say something like that?
I think so.
Somebody said. Yeah, he did good last weekend.
Yeah, so he could be getting better. Anderson was in the same boat too, but he actually did good in the middle of it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
he did shitty last weekend. Did you hear about? I saw a clip come out, and it was Kitchen. He showed up at A1.
Yeah.
And then did practice or whatever, wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
Pulled out. He didn't do any qualifying or anything like that, so he's still eligible to race East Coast. So they moved him to the East Coast. But there's someone, I forget who it was. It might have been RJ, actually. He went on an interview, and he basically said something along the lines of like, oh, yeah, I talked to Kitchen, and he basically told me that was kind of like the plan. Like he almost planned it. It wasn't that he was actually sick.
Huh.
So I was like,
was it you that said you talked to Berlou and Berlou said he had some like
virus that affects
virus
that affects your muscles or something like that.
Yeah. So it's not flesh eating.
No, but then
it's not the monkey from Outbreak.
No.
Okay.
But then the guys that were talking about that on that clip made a good point. Why would the dude from Cowie,
Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch. Why would he agree with that? Leaving only one guy in the West Coast, and then another guy bringing some other guy in that wasn't gonna be in contention for the championship.
That'd be a crazy, like, low confidence move to be like, hey, you can't win here. We need to win. We need to get you over there.
Yeah.
And, like, why wouldn't they have just set it up that way in the first place, right? They would have known what coast Deegan was on if they're trying to avoid him.
Well, no, I think he wanted to come out and say, like, I want to go head-to-head with Deegan. So that's kind of what I thought. Oh, you pussied out. You showed up, and then you're like, oh, I'm sick. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, dude, you said you want to, like, battle with the best guy, and that's Deegan. So that's why you're racing West Coast.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden now you're not. So it's like, what's going on there?
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't hear that about RJ saying that that was the plan. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild for sure.
Yeah. But East Coast is looking stacked now.
I don't even know who's on East Coast, to be honest with you. So we got Kitchen, Faulkner on Triumph, which obviously the Triumphs are pretty good. I thought initially I was like, ooh, bad move.
Yeah.
You know?
So you got those two guys. You got the champion Vial. So you got the West Coast and East Coast champion on one side. McAdoo.
Yeah, he could be good.
Anstey, I think, still over on that side.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And Anstey's on what, Star this year?
Yep.
I don't know if Anstey's going to have it for, like, the fastest of the fast guys. Like, he showed some heat a couple times, but, like, when was it? What races? It wasn't like he was beating the guys that you were like, that's the best guy. When he was crushing.
Going into last year, he did good, and then he had the red plate, and then his bike blew up.
Yeah.
And that was when
he one of the, gosh, my memory sucks so bad. Was he one of the dudes that got the red plate, like, not by winning, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
A couple years ago, maybe it was 23, like, Anstey had a real good standout year on lights. I can't remember the details behind that, but I don't feel like we've seen that since.
Well, I think that was Hayden's rookie year.
Yeah.
And Vial's too. So he was just very consistent. I think he got top threes pretty much all the time. He won that Mutter in New Jersey.
Yep.
So I think that's where he was, and he ended up doing good. Next year he comes out, gets the red plate, then his bike blows up. Then I think comes back, and then he gets signed by Star. Yeah. So we haven't really seen him on a whole season.
Yeah, hopefully he's strong. It was cool because, like, I mean, he's been around forever with, like, kind of dismal results. And then all of a sudden, like, one year he just came out and he was, like, leading races and up there. And I thought that was cool. I like an underdog story. So, like, good for him. But so you said there's Faulkner, which that'll be interesting. What do you think he's going to do?
I don't know, dude. I hope he does really good. Yeah. I never cared for the dude.
Yeah.
And then I started following him a little bit more, and I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
But then he does seem...
It's heartbreaking last year.
He does seem like he's an okay dude.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to cheer for him.
Yeah.
So I think he'll... I mean, Jordan Smith's doing good. So I think he has the speed, so I think he'll do good.
Maybe. I think he's got a lot to overcome. You know what I mean? And, like, I don't know if I said that on this show or to somebody else last year, but I feel like last year for him was like this series of events that just kind of perfectly stacked together because what round was it that happened? Was it the second or the third round?
I want to say it was the third round.
I think it was the third round, right? There was the first round. I think he did okay. I can't remember the stats. My memory sucks, but it was like a bunch of shit happened to other people, and then he got like 2 really good finishes. And, like, did he win the second?
Yeah, I think he straight up beat Hayden in one race.
But it wasn't straight up because, like, they didn't, like, battle. There was something about it. I can't remember exactly, but I remember watching it and thinking, like, he's a badass. But, like, after the last couple of years, he probably has zero confidence. He's probably not going to ride good. But then those things happen, which is, like, confidence giver, like, big confidence giver. And it seemed like it changed him. Because, like, I remember watching him in the first round and even the second round when he won and just thinking, like, he doesn't look like the best or the fastest, but he's winning. You know what I mean? And, like, and then he got it. And then it was just like his brain was like, fuck yeah, this is me, you know? And then he came back for a minute and then he looked really good at that round that he crashed. Like, he actually looked good and, like, he was riding for the win in that race. And then that crazy thing happened and he crashed. So, like, I think it's going to take a lot. Like, I think that was, like, a lucky set of circumstances that allowed him to rebuild that confidence in such a short amount of time. And is he going to be that lucky with like, you know, circumstances just coming together, especially on that coast with how many fast guys there is over there? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But what happened to him and last year especially, like all that stuff, kind of like a normal person, and we're not talking about a normal person, but a normal person would get the sign and be like, yeah, I should hang it up.
Maybe.
And I think that's where he was too.
Yeah.
And then other things happen where it's like he got eye surgery, LASIK or whatever, so he doesn't have to wear contacts. So that was like a confidence booster, I think, because he was like, that's kind of the reason my contact fell out.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't, his perception of like the, you know, the takeoffs and everything like that wasn't there. So he probably crashed because of that. Who knows?
Yeah.
So getting his eyes fixed, confidence booster. Then all of a sudden he has like some type of head stuff going on. Goes, gets checked out. He has something wrong with his brain. So he gets brain surgery.
That's true.
So then now I think he's probably like, all those things were the things that were causing me to crash. So now I got everything fixed. So now
clean slate, huh?
I don't know.
That's a good point. Is there a race this weekend or is there an off weekend this weekend?
There's a race this weekend, I think.
Because they said the West Coast guys are off for 2 weekends. So do we go 2 East Coast back to back, or is there a weekend off coming up here pretty soon?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You
said it very
it just started. It just started.
I thought they usually made it a little further in before they started taking weekends off. Like the first one's like Easter or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Let me look it up. But also another thing, it could be, you know, they're calling it the PC curse. All the PC riders are hurt.
Dude.
Getting hurt.
Mitch did something years ago.
Yeah.
Or in a past life. Kimberly.
You believe that? Past life? Oh, yeah, he was.
She's not talking.
Yeah, he must have been.
Dude, that is such a wild thing. Like, just how dominant and how badass they were. I guess different times, too, you know? Maybe the talent pool was different back then, and he had the money just to be like, there's the biggest guy. I'm going to get him. And now, dude, everybody's so good that it's a toss-up. Like, nobody is just dominating every weekend. Nobody, dude. So, like, I don't know. It's easy to say the PC curse, but I think everybody's just gotten so much better that, like...
But, dude, it's hard to... Okay, so Kitchen goes out.
Yeah.
They bring in Masterpool. Mm-hmm. Masterpool rides one race, KO or, you know, breaks his hand or something. They bring in the Adams kid. He gets hurt that race.
Yep.
So it's like, holy shit.
And how many times in past years have they been like close to a title? Because Kitchen was like, he basically like had a title last year. And he had a big crash one of the last rounds or something, right?
Well, I think he lost it by like a point or two.
Yeah, but he had a big lead. Mm-hmm. And there was that one where, gosh, what happened? It was one of the later rounds. He crashed like pretty bad. I'm probably lying right now. But he had a really bad night at the end of the whole thing that like allowed it to close back up.
Yeah.
So he basically had it. And then the year that Faulkner, like, was it Faulkner's first year? The year that he basically had it, and then he blew his knee out. Yeah, they have had some bad luck, dude.
Yeah, not so good. Not since Ricky left.
Mitch did something.
Yeah.
What'd you do, Mitch? Come on the podcast and tell us.
The 450 guys do okay, I guess.
Yeah, but that's not Pro Circuit Cowie.
Oh, is it?
No.
Oh, just
that's factory Kawasaki.
Oh, factory. Okay. Yeah. So Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch is the problem.
Mitch is the problem.
Hey, so this
is a problem. You know what happened? He stopped giving me free fucking pipes. That's what the problem is. The universe is like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Fuck you then.
You can restore everything. I got a 1999 KX 125 in the garage over there that's just sitting there. I need to restore it. Send all the parts over. And
can we put 2 YZ250 pipes and silencers on this as well? Uh-huh. This is how you bring it back?
Yep.
KX 125 pipe and some YZ250 pipes. Boom, you're back in business. That's all you got to do. It's simple.
Then guaranteed Kitchen wins East Coast. Guaranteed. So Tampa, Florida is this weekend.
Yeah.
And then they go to Detroit.
Tampa! Stevie Janowski? No? Oh. Okay.
Detroit, and then 2 weeks from now, we got Texas, Arlington. So that's when they come back. The West Coast
so
guys.
we go Tampa, Detroit, weekend off.
No.
Is that what you said?
No, those 2 rounds and then back to Texas. So
Texas is West Coast.
West Coast.
They didn't have a fucking Central Coast because that doesn't make any sense.
But then that's weird. It's so weird how they do it because then it goes to Texas, which would be a West Coast round, and then it goes back to Daytona Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
And then Indy, and then that's when it goes to the East Coast for like 2 or 3 rounds. So weird.
Dude, they're going to Pittsburgh this year.
Are they?
Yeah. Just call them, see if they need a freestyle show.
Dude, Deegan watches your Instagram stories.
He does.
Yeah.
He's a big fan.
I saw that. You said if they want a guy to knack, and then he wins and knacks. He's like, no, I ain't having that guy over here.
I know. He's either a big fan or he fucking hates me, right? He's just trying to make sure I don't get a shot. Well, there was more requests, too. They had to let me skip the whoops and turn all the jumps into tabletops. Then I would knack the finish line. Yeah, that was kind of funny, though. Like, I can't believe I posted that, and then he does a fucking knack over the finish line of the heat. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So, he was the big guy that everyone talked about, kind of expected. I think, everyone's like, oh, well, Kitchen and him will have a good battle. But I think he's got Kitchen, you know. But then Kitchen pulls out, and then it's like, oh, dude, he's got it easily.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now he's battling this kid, Julian Beaumer.
Yeah. Which, like, the last couple rounds, he's definitely looked faster. There was the race that Beaumer won and just flat out just beat him, you know? But it seems like Hayden's came back from that. But the star kid, too, Cole Davies.
Cole Davies. Man. Yeah, that kid looks good.
He looks really good. Like, I can't believe he crashed first lap in the third race of the Triple Crown, which was like, all he had to do probably was just stay up. Well,
he crashed last place and he comes back to like 8th or something.
Yeah.
So you had the speed up.
Oh, yeah.
Be up there.
I think he had to top 5.
Yeah.
Or maybe he had to top 3. I don't know.
I think it was top 5 to win it.
Yeah, like he didn't need a lot. So that's what I was saying. Like, all he had to do was just not fall down on the first lap. Even if he fell down later, he'd probably be all right.
Dude, it was so funny because during the first 2 races, he's kind of funny. And he also he's New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand.
So he's also like kind of has that personality of like, I don't give a fuck, like all the Australian guys and stuff like that. So I was telling my wife, I don't know, man. He might be on the spectrum a little bit. Like, he kind of gives me that Shane Gillis vibe. And then it was the last race and she's like, oh, he's got it. I'm all, well, this is what separates boys from men. And then also like, see if you buckle under the pressure. And that's where I was trying to tell her. I'm like, he's kind of on the spectrum, so I don't think he knows what pressure is.
Apparently he does.
Yeah, he crashed right away, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's normal.
Yeah.
But he was going fast.
He was going fast. Man.
He looks really good in the whoops for being like a rookie.
Dude, he's so smooth. Yeah. He's smooth, like fast. He doesn't look on the edge ever, which like, being on the edge is fun to watch. Like Deegan looks like he rides on the edge all the time. It's fun, you know, but I don't know. I always wonder like how sustainable is that, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks good. He's got a bright future ahead, I'm sure, but not yet.
Yeah.
Wasn't starting last weekend.
Dude, he was giving me the vibe of like, it's such a bummer that Beaumer is doing pretty good. He has a red plate. And then Deegan comes out and kind of trash talks him, says like, oh, he was running his mouth, so I got to come out here and, show him. Whatever. It sucks that like Beaumer doesn't like go off of that, like say something else. Like
I thought he did. I don't pay attention to this shit too
not
much,
not on TV. Like maybe on a podcast he had said something, but it wasn't even that big of a deal.
I like it better. I know everybody likes the shit talking, but like I like it better when you don't. And when he got beat, all I know is the race interviews because I don't watch anything after that. But when he got beat, so he won one weekend and then Deegan won the next weekend, and Deegan does his amazing post-race interviews, which are just cringy as fuck. Oh, it pissed me off, man. You don't want to piss me off. Wake the bull up and piss me off. And like, then Beaumer gets on and he's just like, well, he was the better man tonight, so we just got to work harder. And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
Like that's, for me, that's the way to do it. But yeah, it's fucking probably why nobody ever liked me. I wasn't loud enough.
For me, I like the stick up for yourself type deal.
Yeah.
Especially when this guy's just super loud. So like stick up for yourself, say something clever, say something funny. If you need a rider, hire me. I can write you some jokes. But so it was a bummer. But then I'm like, dude, this Cole Davies kid just seems like he doesn't care. He's just having fun. That he might call out Deegan. He might be the one saying, Deegan's a puss, dude. I got him.
He does I actually have a picture of him on a post-race interview just flashed into my head. And maybe he might be on the spectrum a little bit, huh?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I get what you're saying a little bit.
He just doesn't care, it seems like.
Yeah. Dude, it was crazy. Beaumare just doing everything he could to throw it away last weekend, too. Like 2 hole shots, 2 crashes on the first lap. Not doing everything he could. That's a stupid way to say it, but shit, man.
Yeah. But going back to Cole Davies, the second race where he won that one, too. He's like, I learned 2 things from Julian. He's like, don't follow him and something else about a big jump. But it was like that stuff right there is so funny. It shows a little bit of personality. Yeah. So that's why I was like, dude, that kid's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Showing a little bit of personality on the post-race interview, I think definitely goes a long way. And it's a thing that most people don't do. And even if I do think Deegan's like post-race things are cringy sometimes, I do think it's good that he's just himself and he just talks. And
it's good for the sport.
Yeah. I think more people need to do that. Like nothing is worse than when a guy gets on the podium and he can't thank his sponsors, but then he just goes through the list. They say, I can't thank him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that you're talking about the KTM team.
Malcolm is king of can't thank his sponsors.
Well, Malcolm doesn't get up there ever, so he doesn't remember that list. Yeah. He doesn't need to.
Every time they say that, I'm like, are you fucking listening to yourself? I can't thank my sponsors. Fox, Maxima, Pro Circuit. I'm like... You left out. You can't thank them enough? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but it seems like that KTM team. You got Beaumare, you got Sexton. And he's a seasoned veteran, dude. He should be able to like have a little personality up there.
Did you ever watch his YouTube channel?
But he's always all... That's his like hang loose thing, but he never like puts his fingers out. He's all, like...
You ever watch his YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Link put it on the other day, and it was tough to watch.
He has a good, so that's why I watch, because I'm big into that stuff, but he has a good editor and filmer.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, it does look like good quality content, but I don't know. It makes me wonder like what he's like. Like we didn't watch a whole episode, so it could have changed, but like he didn't like interact with the camera at all. Like he didn't really do anything of like value. It was weird. Like, I was like, this dude, maybe he's just so programmed to be a racer that like he doesn't give a fuck, you know? And he's like, I'm just going to pound out laps and that's it.
And I think he's basically doing it because I think everyone sees the effect that Deegan, has with his YouTube channel. So I think everyone that has a channel now or is going to is because of that. So I think he might do it because of that, not because he really wants to share. And the times he does interact is because I think the filmer guy is his buddy. Yeah. And he'll ask him stuff. But other than that, he's pretty...
It was weird to watch.
Yeah.
It's a little weird to watch. I mean, I think it's a really good thing for all these people to like... These dudes are making a shit ton of money. And like, if you give the people something about you and who you are to connect with, like it only stands to like benefit you a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea.
Well, I haven't been to the races. I wanted to, but they took out all the Northern California race, which was Oakland, I think.
You mean it just wasn't on the schedule?
Yeah, it wasn't on there. Yeah, it wasn't on there.
Yeah.
So I didn't go, but from what I hear, like the pits, even though like footage I see, like the Lawrence brothers have a good turnout and everything, but what everyone says is like Deegan's, the Yamaha trailer is just stupid.
Yeah, that's what we heard. Our neighbors went and said they were in line for like 3 hours or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah, back in the day, you could just like walk up.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, it obviously has a big effect, and I think these guys are doing it. But like I said, like I love moto, and I like to ride myself, and then also I love the production side of like making content and everything. So I will watch these guys' channel sometimes, and like watching Sexton's channel, it's like cool because they play some decent songs on there, and just the guy does a good job. It's not even Sexton's part, just the editor filmer guy. Like, he kills it. So then what I'm there to see Sexton do, which is like train and like kind of motivate me. Yeah. It doesn't do none of that. I'm like, dude, come on. You could train a little bit harder, or not harder, but like explain it to us better. Like, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, sick. You know, I learned something from that.
But he just kind of does his thing, and there's just like a person filming in the corner. And like, it's like he doesn't even acknowledge that it's there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah. And that's how Faulkner had a pretty decent channel last year.
Did he?
And then after he got hurt, he just kind of stopped posting shit. But
I wonder what kind of numbers those guys get for their channels. Because like Barsha had a channel, another one that Link put on one day. And like, I can't remember if you were saying, Kim, or what, but that it was funny, that the channel was good and it was filmed good. Or I can't remember. But like, seems like an all right one, but like, just seems like nobody watches it. And like, I feel like Barsha has a personality, you know, like where that could have picked up. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually when they come across like my feed and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Like, remember Drinky's old writer? What was that guy's?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember who he had.
On the 250s, I won the championship, and then some 450s
Lawrence?
now. No.
Jason Lawrence?
No, Drinky.
He won a championship on 250s?
Yeah, on KTM's, I believe.
I really don't remember any of
It's like a bald guys. Dude. I'm blanking his name.
Bald dude.
It's on Honda.
Like Baggett?
No.
Or McElrath.
McElrath, yeah, it looks like Black Baggett. Yeah. McElrath has a channel. It came across my stuff and I watch it, and I mean it's okay because they do more of like the, you know, it's like a privateer team.
Yeah.
So you kind of see that stuff, and then you also see him at the races. He does a little too much talking sometimes, where it's like, all right, dude, we get it. Like, get to something else, you know. But he has a channel, so like stuff like that pops up, and I'm like, oh, cool, that guy has a channel, and a lot of times it just shows you their personality.
Yeah.
So it makes you like someone, you know. So
yeah, I mean that's definitely what it's there for. You got to be making a couple extra bucks to invest in that though, because man, the whole production of it's got to cost a lot to like have somebody follow you around. You know, you got all these extra flights and got an extra hotel room and all this stuff every weekend, and then you pay them to edit it, and like the grind to do it yourself would be gnarly. And like one of the things I didn't like, not that I did anything good on YouTube at all, my shit sucked, but like I really didn't like the whole like selfie cam everything. You know, it's like it just gets old. Like,
that's why they got editors or filmers.
Yeah, that's why they have filmers. Yeah, and some of the POV stuff's cool and like doing it yourself, but man, it just doesn't work without like some like nice shots of what's going on. Yeah,
and I kind of wonder how it works now. I mean, back in the day, I don't know if it was too hard to get like a photo pass for Supercross, but I know now they give photo media passes to people. Yeah. But then how does it work with these guys? Because say like Star, say like they'll get a pass for the kid that does Hayden stuff maybe, but he has to have a really good one to be on the floor. And then they probably have other Star racing guys that will like do stuff for the entire team. So it's like I wonder how like the pass situation works nowadays. It seems like everyone has a filmer. Maybe just girlfriends are doing it, wives are doing it.
The fucking infield's going to be just packed with YouTube filmers. People holding GoPros on selfie sticks and shit.
Well, and that's the thing too. Back in the day, it's like, well, who are you shooting for? And you got to like explain, and if it's not good enough for like Racer X or something, you know. But then now it's like, who are you shooting for? Just YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can't say no.
Yeah.
Because YouTube's like bigger than Racer X magazine.
I didn't even think of that. So like Deegan actually has his own guy like on the track that he films for his things?
Yeah, because you see like sometimes he has, well, I mean, compared to what's on TV, but they have really good footage.
Really? Like, see, that would have, if you would have just asked me if they had that, I would have thought no. I wouldn't have thought they'd have been able to get their own filmer on the fucking track just to film shit for YouTube. But it makes sense, right? Like, why wouldn't Supercross allow that? Maybe they don't allow it for anybody else. Are there other guys that do that?
I don't know. Well, I think so. Yeah.
Or there's probably an area that everybody can get to.
Yeah.
Like they could, because like, you know, they do the Team Fried thing too. They've always got race footage, right? But maybe there's like an area they can go, right? Kind of where like all the pit guys are and pit boards and all that shit. And maybe I don't know. I'm only just guessing, but maybe most all of their stuff comes from there. But like, if Supercross was smart, they would let fucking the Deegans and their YouTube filmer do whatever the fuck they want because they're potentially bringing a new audience to Supercross.
Hey, not to go back on this subject, but you know why Myrtle wasn't a smart dude?
Why?
Dude, the Lawrence brothers don't have a YouTube channel. Like Jett doesn't have a Jett Lawrence YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I remember when he was the undefeated season, I'm like, dude, he's sick. Like, let me look him up. I look up, there's nothing. There was like Honda video, like from Honda.
Yeah.
Videos of them, and I think there was one of like kind of a cribs type deal with his brother, and I thought that was cool. Like he showed his house and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know anything about these guys, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then they don't have their actual YouTube channel, and I was like, dude, what a bonehead move.
Maybe
They'd be big.
Maybe. What if they're massive douchebags?
That too. Nah.
Then it would be negative influence. No, I don't know. Maybe they're just not into it. Like,
yeah.
It's just maybe, dude, would you really be chasing more money if you made $10 million a year?
I think so.
You would?
Not me. Not me, but I think that's what people do.
I'd be like, I got enough, dude.
Dude, I know plenty of people that are like kind of money hungry.
Yeah.
And if they won $10 million tomorrow, that would not be enough because then they're going to be like, well, I want to be like 100 millionaire, like, or something like that.
Yeah, I think the world is like, oh, sorry, dude. I think the world is like riddled with those type of people. And it's crazy. It's not good. It's definitely not everybody, but yeah, you're right. There's a chance that most people would be like that. I'd be fucking chilling, dude. That's when I'd be like, the day has come. I'm not going to Europe for the weekend anymore.
No, I'm going to go to Europe, buy a country or something. But I'm not going for the weekend.
Or if I was going to go for a weekend, I'd get business class so I could lay down the whole way.
No, first class.
Yeah, but that's business class, isn't it? On the international flights?
I don't know. I thought there was a difference.
I don't know.
I flew business class once and I wasn't first class. It was like, you got kind of all the cool stuff, but you didn't get like the lay down, sleep.
I've got the lay down ones. I thought it was business class, but maybe it's first class. I don't know. But I would definitely get that, and then I'd still go. And whatever I got paid for being there wouldn't even cover my fucking ticket on my lay down seat. But it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
No, I would just be saying no to shows, I think.
Yeah, I'd be chilling too. I'd be starting like other businesses and
I would probably like just focus on FMX Rampage and like, how can I make this like as cool as possible? Imagine that if your budget wasn't like at the forefront, like, all right, I got to fit me and 3 other freestyle guys and sound and all this stuff. I've got to fit this into X amount of dollars. And like, maybe sometimes you have to skimp out on something and you can't do something as good as you want to do because of this and that. Like having that unlimited budget to be like, we're going to make this fucking sick.
Yeah, that's when you make a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick question to end the show then. I don't know if you've seen much about it, but like Arena Cross, they have like I forgot what it's called now. Moto X1 or something. But it's the electric bike, the start class.
I can't remember what it's called either. I know what you're talking about.
So I saw it in Reno. It was pretty cool. Me and Miller and then Fiki was also talking about it. It's like, how cool would it be to have like that Arena Cross track in your backyard with like 10 of those bikes for all your homies just to race. And it's like, when it comes to that sounds really cool, right? So then, dude, the other day, and I didn't save it or anything, but the other day I was on Instagram and it was a post of like an indoor, like basically a go-kart track, but it was for motocross.
Yeah.
And
where's it at?
It was in Europe somewhere.
I've been there.
Oh, okay, so
it's in Germany, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So they had like the
KTMs.
Well, they were, I think, the Starks.
Oh, maybe now they got new ones.
Yeah.
So if this is the same one, when I was there, they had KTM e-bikes.
Okay.
And it was like they had the front of it was like wasn't really a dealership, but maybe kind of like some sort of parts store. You get gear, get all the stuff, and then you went a little further back, and they had bikes and gear you could rent and shit like that.
Oh, sick!
And I was in between 2 shows, and the promoter took us there. It was me and Ryan Brown, the freestyle guy, and like they had like this little arena cross track in the back, and we just fucking rode all day.
Yeah, so they had the arena cross track, they had the bikes, but then the bikes had supermoto tires, not like knobbies.
Oh, really?
So I think like that. Obviously, it helps so the track doesn't have to get built all the time. But I was like, damn, dude, that would be so sick.
Yeah.
Talk about like liability and, you know, getting someone out there that doesn't know how to ride. I know you could turn those down.
Yeah.
But there's probably a lot of risk into it. But I'm like, dude, if someone did that here in the States.
There's a lot of risk into it. And that's the bummer, is that like nobody wants to be fucking held accountable for their own decisions. And like, dude, if you want to ride a fucking dirt bike and you crash, like, I'm sorry. Like, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
But like, that's, you fucking wanted to do the badass shit. Like, maybe that's the price you pay sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, everybody just sues, so it kind of fucks it for everybody. But maybe the place you're talking about was different. But I did go to one in Europe, and I was talking to Matt Rabode a couple weekends ago, and he said he's actually opening a track. And he said it's in the city, and they are using all Starks. And he said you can really adjust the power, so it's like less likely for people to get out of control. They're mainly like focused on like beginner people that want to ride bikes and kids and stuff like that. And it is a cool idea. And like you said, it's sweet because like we live around other houses, and if we had 10 Starks, like, dude, we could full on arena cross our backyard, and like you could ride whenever the hell you wanted.
Yeah.
Like as long as you watered and didn't kill your neighbors with dust. And like, I could have a ramp in my yard and I could ride it whenever I wanted. Like, I could still fit a ramp in my yard and maybe ride it and get away with it. But the thought of annoying the shit out of my neighbors all the time with like 2-stroke noise, panic revs.
Yeah.
I just feel like it would be a distraction. It'd be a distraction for me, wondering like, am I pissing these people off? Am I going to call the cops? So I just don't even really think about it. But it does open up a lot of possibilities to be able to make the bikes like maybe less dangerous. Take the noise factor out of it, take the oil factor out of it, where, you know, environmentalists think that we're going to ruin the world with dirt bikes that have oil, but then they drive their car places. You know, it takes all that out of it too. It's pretty neat. It is an idea. Like, you put it right, every track too, like think about with us, the only track we can go to is Fernley.
Yeah.
Bro, it's fucking hour and 20 minutes from here, and it's 45 minutes from anything, really, unless you live in Fernley, but who the fuck wants to live there? But imagine you can just have like a legit track in town, where everybody's at, like low barrier to entry, right? It's just like, I think I want to ride dirt bikes. I'm going to go 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to ride dirt bikes. Like, get that same person and being like, you want to ride dirt bikes? Cool. Yeah, it's only an hour away.
Yeah. And I think that's what the problem was like in town here with Silver State. I think people complained about the racetrack, the car part, and then also the dirt bike track because it was too loud for the neighbors, even though it was kind of spread out. Even though houses were built there after the track was there, it's like, well, you kind of knew what you were doing.
Always do.
You know, but nonetheless, it gets taken down, and now it's a bunch of houses are there and stuff like that.
Yeah, 15 years later, it turns into houses.
So, but also like what I've seen is a lot of these places, because there's nothing like huge there, so you could do it in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And you don't have like the worry about like the gas or smoke inside, you know, stuff like that. And it's quiet. So like, it's kind of easy to get a big ass warehouse, bring some dirt in there, make a track, and then you're set.
Yeah. Place I grew up riding at called Switchbacks in Butler, Pennsylvania. It was all outdoor before. And then after I moved away from Pennsylvania, they actually built like a big, just, you know, like a big tin building and put a track in there. And they've been running like an indoor track there for, dude, I don't know how many years, 15 years now, something like that. So yeah, it's doable. It's cool that way too, because you can just ride in any conditions.
Yeah.
I'm not opening one though.
Okay. Well, I was trying to see what your head was at. You're not doing it. So someone else do it. And invite us, because that'd be sick.
I don't think we have the money for that. That would probably be quite an undertaking, right?
Yeah.
The space, the building, then the dirt and all the stuff. And like, honestly, I think especially in America, the thing that's going to kill you the most is the insurance.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
Just fucking everybody quit suing everybody.
Dude, under Donald Trump, we should be able to open up a track and make it cheap.
That's right.
And make those bikes in America.
Yeah.
Not wherever they're made.
And if we can't, I want to fucking complain about him on the internet so bad.
You want to or you don't? All right, well, dude, thanks for coming in. We'll see how the races go later on and come back and talk about it. Hopefully we got some good stuff going on.
I think we're in for a pretty good season this year, and I'm excited about it. And only 5 minutes down the road now, so
whenever
you need me.
Yeah. Well, thank you, dude. And I will see you guys next week.